Welcome to Go Riding TV, your guide to ATVing's best. Today's tour brings you something really special, a double bill from our visit to the Cape Breton Highlands for a weekend-long riding session they call the Highland Quest. Inviting out a new staff member, we trade the snow for some mud and bring you a snowmobiler's first impression of riding an ATV. And our parts and accessories experts talk about some fuel additives and offer some advice for upgrading your wheels. It's fun and rubber side down. Go Riding TV. It's all good, so let's roll. Go Riding is sponsored by Yamaha ATVs and Rhino. What kind of Yamaha are you? By G-Max Helmets, a perfect fit. There's a G-Max for everyone. And by Can-Am ATVs and side-by-sides, the ultimate ride. If you were ever in need of a reason to visit Cape Breton, Nova Scotia, how about this little known fact? It has been voted the third best island in the world by readers of Travel and Leisure magazine. Only Bali and the Galapagos Islands ranked ahead. Who knew? Well, the great folks that call Cape Breton home knew it all along, and when they called to invite the Go Riding crew out to partake in their second annual Highland Quest, it did not take us long to respond with a loud and appreciative yes. Anyone who has ever visited Cape Breton Island and has traveled the famous Cabot Trail knows just how beautiful this part of the country is. For us, not only would we get to drive the Seaside Cabot Trail, we were also going to ride up and over the incredible Cape Breton Highlands, thanks to the efforts of the volunteers from the Isle Royale, Marconi Trailblazers, and the Northside ATV Clubs, who are the collective behind organizing the Highland Quest weekend ride.
Right here where we're at in Wreck Cove, just down the road, there's the Giant McCaskill Museum. Just up from that, we have the Alexander Graham Bell Museum in Bedeck, Fortress of Louisbourg, just out from Sydney, Montage Museum in Glace Bay, Marconi Museum in Glace Bay. There's tremendous here to see for anybody who on a vacation.
Dan Fraser is president of the Isle Royale Club and was instrumental in working with tourism and the ATV clubs to roll out the welcome mat for our crew. He explains what the Highland Quest is all about.
Well, the Highland Quest started a year ago, and it was members of the Isle Royale ATV Club who came up with the idea and talked to the folks in the Marconi Trailblazers Club and sort of worked together on getting this underway. It was successful last year, so we held the Highland Quest 2, and it went over quite well. An increase in the number of people taking part, lots of fun. We had rain. No one seemed to mind that. As a matter of fact, with the rain, there was mild temperatures, as it turned out, which was great. And when people went from Wreck Cove over to Shetty Camp, a community on the water along the ocean, they were very happy that the trail they rode on was in good shape. Enjoyable, and when they got at the other end, a shower, stay overnight in the accommodations there, it was just great. People were very happy.
In addition to helping the Go Riding crew out with the use of a Can-Am Commander side-by-side, which was much appreciated with all the rain we faced, Brian Lorimer, the district sales manager for Can-Am, explains why they're so involved in supporting this ride.
It was something that the local dealer here in Cape Breton Island, Gord Sports Center, decided to try and put together with the clubs to create I'll say a multi-group ride where they travel right up and over the Cape Breton Highlands, spend overnight in Shetty Camp, New Brunswick. Local restaurants participate, hotels participate, there's a band. It's just a huge jamboree, if you will, for Cape Breton Island. Anytime that we have the opportunity to sort of step up and help and show support, to the clubs, promote safe riding, and just get a bunch of, like minds, if you will, together to enjoy the scenery, enjoy the area. Fabulous area for trails and systems. So VRP and Can-Am is just absolutely, thrilled to be a part of it, and will continue to be for sure in the future.
Our journey on the Highland Quest began with a water skip on board the Englishtown Ferry, where we were brought across to the Cabot Trail. Then it was a short drive up to the community of Wreck Cove, where the staging area awaited nestled in the foggy mountains of the Highlands. Considered an extension of the Appalachian mountain chain, elevations here rise to more than 500 meters. Our travels had us continually climbing as we navigated over and around a Nova Scotia hydro development, which took a series of small lakes and expanded them into dams and turbines, which would generate additional power as one lake flowed down a piping system into another. The trails we rode had us riding around the dams and around the perimeters, which also opened up some very interesting views as dozens of ATVs carved their way through the low-hanging clouds. Once hitting the plateau and the forest roads, we rode down into a valley into the community of Margaree, where Mother Nature joined us with some serious rain. While stopped for lunch and fuel in Margaree, we had the chance to chat with Lori Cranton, who is on the advisory committee for the Off-Highway Vehicle Infrastructure Fund in Nova Scotia.
It's a government-appointed body made up of stakeholders from various factions, the off-highway vehicle community, but also environment and landowner and a number of different stakeholders like that and government. And basically it's our job to implement a plan that was put forward about 5 years ago from a voluntary task force that looked at off-highway vehicles in Nova Scotia. A big part of that is a trail fund that's been established now that provides $40 for every trail user when they register. They pay into it. That generates $1.2 to $1.5 million a year, and that's put back into the province for off-highway vehicle issues. And it's our job to make recommendations around. The funds that we provide through the Off-Highway Vehicle Infrastructure Fund have to be used for trails that allow off-highway vehicles. If the trail doesn't allow off-highway vehicles, obviously we're not going to fund it. So any trails like the Trans-Canada Trail, that has been quite significantly funded by the Off-Highway Vehicle Fund, but it's mainly snowmobile and ATV clubs that have been involved in the development of that trail as well, and certainly the use is permitted there. If they were to build a new section of Trans-Canada Trail where the use isn't permitted, and that may happen in some areas, it wouldn't really be appropriate to use off-highway vehicle dollars to fund that.
Stay tuned. When we come back, we'll have more of the Highland Quest on Go Riding. More from the Highland Quest when Go Riding returns. Welcome back to the second part of the Highland Quest on Go Riding. The trails we enjoyed in this region are maintained by Highlands and Shetty Camp and the Margaree ATV clubs and the Margaree and local snowmobile clubs. From here, we once again climbed and headed for the top before our final descent into the town of Shetty Camp on the coast. The ride to Shetty Camp could easily be considered one of the most scenic sections of the Highlands. Riding at some of the highest elevations challenges you to keep your focus on the trail and not the vistas across valleys and out into the ocean. Once down into town, the dozens of quad tourists invaded to celebrate with a dinner, awards, and an overnight stay. In town for the festivities was the president of the ATV Association of Nova Scotia, who shared some thoughts.
I've participated in this run in 2008 and 2010. And they're both were fantastic experiences. The scenery is second to none. The trails are excellent traveling. You can't ask for a better type of terrain. It varies from being up on the flat highland country to steep slopes coming down and going back up to valley areas along rivers and everything else. It is an exceptional ride and very easy for all levels of rider skills.
Even with the wet weather, one of the best parts to this ride was the people we met along the way. Rain definitely didn't dampen any spirits.
Well, I think the best part of the whole thing is the Wreck Cove, because it's very fascinating on how one lake drains into the other, which the Nova Scotia Power draw the water down to produce the power there. The scenery is exceptionally, and the trails are just outstanding. They're beautiful trails to run on.
It's just a downright home feeling you get, and then good people, good times, lots of fun. A good family experience, I think. That's me and my son as that comes out.
The Highland Quest that we just finished was an excellent run. It was my first all-terrain vehicle poker run. I think it was an excellent opportunity to prove responsibility and to promote the sport of off-highway vehicles.
Oh, we should definitely come here because this is about the best trip I've been on, and I've lived in Nova Scotia all my life.
The scenery is so nice, even if it's raining. You're going to see the ocean, mountains, nice trees, brooks, streams. See pretty much no wildlife today because it's raining, but other than that, usually it is. It's a very fun ride. You get to meet lots of people.
It's excellent. It's lots of fun and it's enjoyment. Love it. Go every weekend. Variety from narrow wooded trails to wide open trails. My favorite expression about the Highlands is a bad day in the Highlands is better than a good day at home. I hope the wife's not watching.
After a fun-filled evening of celebrations, some squeezed their big heads into their helmets as the gang fueled up and headed out for the return ride over the top of the Highlands back to Wreck Cove. The Isle Royale ATV Club is certainly grateful for the support it received from Destination Cape Breton, Enterprise Cape Breton Corporation, and the Cape Breton County Economic Development Authority. Go Riding would like to thank Dan and Gary for their warm welcome and all the volunteers who made this event happen. Cheers to a job well done.
You're missing out. It's just so much fun, the adrenaline, and everybody's taking pictures. The adrenaline, and it's just great. It's fresh air and good people. And
Next on Go Riding, additives you'll want to know about. Not all fuel is created equally, and what fuel you put into your quad can make a big difference as to how it runs. From the shop and those in the know, here's some good advice.
Well, they can add stabilizer and conditioner. Yamaha sells a good product here. It's an additive that's a fuel stabilizer and conditioner. It's going to not only maintain the octane level in the fuel, but it's also going to clean out your fuel system. For those non-avid riders that just do take it out every now and then, it's important because as that fuel sits in your tank, the octane level is slowly going to drop day by day, week by week, until it starts leaving gummy, grimy stuff in your fuel system and your ATV just won't run the same.
Remember, fuel can go stale, so it's best to maintain the fuel in your machine, especially if it's been sitting for long periods of time without running.
Whether you're replacing a damaged axle in your ATV or you're upgrading because you've put a big lug heavy mud tire on your ATV, Bronco's come out with a full line of axles for replacement and also for upgrade. The big thing with ATV tires is they're getting bigger, heavier, getting more traction in the mud. The problem with that is they are heavier and they will put more load on your stock ATV axle. Bronco's come out with a line of standard replacement axles, also standard extended axles, and an HD axle. So if you are going to upgrade your ATV to that big mud lug tire, Bronco's got an axle to replace your stock axle. Nice thing with Bronco ATV axles is they come complete as you see it in the box. They come banded, greased, with the boots, with the nut, the clip, everything that you need as you see it in the box, ready to install in the ATV. Aside from your standard independent axle for your ATV, Bronco's also come out with a stock replacement solid rear axle. For your older Hondas, your YFZ 450 Yamahas, Still a lot of ATVs using this stock standard solid rear axle, so Bronco has that application as well. With the full line of Bronco ATV axles, the nicest thing about them is the price point. They're about half the price of an OEM axle, so it makes it much easier on your pocketbook to get your ATV back out on the trail.
He goes, "You okay?" I thought you were going to slide in. Should have just belly flopped that. Why did you get traction?
What's the child for the mud bogs here?
This is a little bit of mud, nothing serious. I'm not made of sugar. That was a blast.
The rookie hits the mud. Next on Go Riding. Go Riding TV is always looking for good stories about riding experiences. So when our new staff member, who has a huge snowmobiling background but no ATV experience, headed out for her first ever quad ride, and a muddy one it was, we took the opportunity to capture her first impressions. Here's what Alana the snowmobiler thought of her inaugural ATV experience.
I didn't expect what I saw out here today. It was really fun. Lots of people came out. There was lots of mud, lots of dirt. It was just all around a great day, and my first time riding experience couldn't have gone any better. For my first time riding, it was a great machine to start on. I would recommend it to anybody who would start out riding. It's a great machine, still lots of power. The only thing that I would suggest is that you feel a little bit smaller out there compared to every other person on the big machines. I did get stuck a few times, but like I said, the mud up there in St. Charles is just too deep for the small 300 tires that are on there. There's people there just chatting, enjoying themselves, getting some lunch. People were going up to each other and just talking about the ride in general. Everyone was very happy. I found that they were very friendly. I wasn't expecting that. In a sense, I've always known snowmobilers to be the friendliest of people, and I was really glad to see that ATVers are in the same sense as snowmobilers. Oh, you've got to try it. It's great fun. It helps pass the winter time in between snowmobile seasons for me. It seems to be a longer season, which is great, and I think you just got to get out there and try it. It's a lot of fun. You don't have to dress up as much as you do in a snowmobile, so you have that freedom of moving around, which is kind of nice. I really like that aspect of it as well. Yeah, there was beautiful trails up there. I wasn't expecting to see that at all. I've never been up that way snowmobiling even, so just it was all new to me. I think the best part about the ride was that we got to see this beaver dam that was just off the trail, so we rode up to it, and you could stand basically up to it, and because I'm shorter, I could basically stand level with the water and stand down in the beaver dam, which was really cool to see. I've never seen anything like that before in my life, so I guess I wouldn't have gone out there to see it if I wasn't on an ATV ride, so that was really great.
We love to hear from all riders about their experiences and suggestions for storytelling. You can contact us online at GoRidingTV.com. Go Riding is sponsored by Yamaha ATVs and Rhino. What kind of Yamaha are you? By G-Max Helmets, a perfect fit. There's a G-Max for everyone. And by Go Riding Magazine, Canada's ATVing lifestyle connection. Next on Go Riding, we head up the west coast to Fort St. John for some northern BC quadding. We stop and ask the question, what is it about mud that attracts the masses? And keeping the trailer in shape, we offer a few suggestions. Got comments or suggestions? Email us at info@GoRidingTV.com. And be sure to visit the GoRidingTV.com website for more ATVing videos and entertainment. We appreciate your time. Join us again for Go Riding TV.